It's been a beautiful couple of days in the Emerald City. This is Pac-12 women's basketball from Seattle. Inside Alaska Airlines Arena on the campus of the University of Washington, the Washington Huskies welcoming the Ohio State University Buckeyes. Hi everybody, I'm Anne-Marie Anderson alongside Tammy Blackburn. And Tammy, let's get right into the matchup. How is Ohio State going to challenge Washington today?
They're going to make this Husky team better because they're a good team. They've played a really good schedule. They're big, they're fast, they're strong. This is a great litmus test for the Huskies, and even though it's not the Ohio State team of years past, they're growing, and they certainly are strong.
As for the Huskies, Jody Wynn is known for her defense. Why is this team so defensively sound?
Well, conceptually, they're a year older, right? And they're more mature. So they understand concepts. They understand that the whole point is taking angles and understanding whether you're playing zone or player to player, how to trap, things like that. So being a year older, they have a little bit more experience, and they've played together, and that matters big time. And when you see what they were able to do against a George Mason team, I mean, it's fantastic. They force turnovers, and they score off those turnovers. In the last two games, their defense, 54 points, and they have only allowed 55 points.
Well, you mentioned, Tammy, that this isn't the Ohio State team of the past. They have a lot of grad students in. In addition, they have a freshman from Hungary who is really lighting up the scoreboard.
Well, I think that this player, Dorka Juhas, is doing such a nice job. You have to take away her right hand. You have to run her. She is 13 points. She's going to score. They're not going to be able to stop her. She is going to get some offensive rebounds, and that's exactly what she does. Look at her rebound line, about 10.5 per game. But you have to find a way to contain Juhas, and when you do that, that lets everybody else have to step up.
Juhas and the Buckeyes are playing for Kevin McGuff, the former coach from the University of Washington. McGuff's first trip back here, Jody Wynn in her second season. Huskies starting to take on her tough personality and wicked defense. We'll put the ball in the air on the other side of this break.
I love this matchup, especially in December. Listen, Pac-12 is looming around the corner. December 30th, we're going to tip here in the Pac-12.
First shot is up for Missy Peterson. It's no good. And for Washington, you talk about December and coming up Pac-12. They have all December at home, these Huskies do, and plenty to accomplish during that time. Ball movement around the perimeter as Melgoza, season opening, she thinks drives in, ends up carrying it, and it's travel.
This is an Ohio State team that's going to be lockdown defense. They want to force the Huskies to shoot from the outside. They want to take away the middle penetration. They know that Amber Melgoza can hurt you off the dribble, and they're going to force her to try to shoot. Amber Melgoza, who's been struggling shooting just as of late, they want to try to get up and make some shots, and they want to also run on Ohio State.
Foul is on Meilani Henson.
An offensive foul against number 3 of Washington, Meilani Henson, her first team foul. In the game for Meilani Henson, number 35, Alexis Grigsby.
Juhas, number 14 in red, under the basket. Waterman inside. Shots up from the perimeter. No good. Missy Peterson boxes out.
Good one and done for the Huskies and not allowing Ohio State. An Ohio State team that comes in, they run, Anne-Marie, they run a lot of dribble drive action. They're going to get a lot of handoffs. They want to try to shuffle some action. So it's very important for this Husky team. We tipped you off at the open that this is a good Husky defense team. Ohio State will test them. They've got to talk, communicate, not give up anything. That is easy. You're going to see a lot of switching, as we're seeing right now by the Huskies early on, already switching on several handoffs by Ohio State.
Juhas trying to drive past Darcy Reese.
That is what Juhas will do.
Against Huskies, number 35, Lexi Grigsby, her first foul, second.
If you are guarding Juhas in that situation, you want to give her that room. Make her put the ball on the floor and beat you. Also, make sure that you bend your legs, stay in the stance, keep her in front of you. Step up and take the charge, and if you're helping your player in Darcy Reese, make sure that you get off early enough if you see that Darcy is beat. and take a charge as well.
And number 15, Haley Van Dyke.
Coming in for the Huskies, Haley Van Dyke, number 15 in white, a true freshman. And Hannah Johnson, grad student, plays a big part on this team last season.
Anne-Marie, you just mentioned Haley Van Dyke. I want to talk about the freshman production for this University of Washington team. They have been making a splash. They've been fantastic, actually. TT Watkins, Haley Van Dyke, Darcy Reese, who we saw sub out. She is taking on and has the dubious task of guarding one-on-one Dorka Uhas. But Van Dyke is averaging about 6.3 points a game, has scored in double figures in 3 games. They want to lean on these young freshmen and talented players and get them the minutes that they deserve.
Taking a look at this homestand for the Huskies, they got a win over George Mason the other day, a big win. They'll be playing Montana after finals start, December 15th, 16. Then they go on the road, and a long stretch at home in December. For Jody Wynn in year 2 with this team, last year came in, the team went 7-23. They won only 1 game in conference. This year they start off, they got a win over Duke already, Tammy.
Yeah, when I take a look at this schedule and what they were able to do, you were just talking about that home schedule. Lots of room for growth, Anne-Marie, in the month of December for the Huskies. But they went down to a tournament in the Gulf Coast Showcase. That was in Fort Myers, Florida. First Duke, Fordham, Michigan. What a disappointing loss to Fordham. I'm not sure how they did not get to the free throw line in that Fordham match, but, well, we don't need to really talk about that. Another disappointing loss, too, versus Michigan. They did have that 7-point victory over Duke. It was great experience for them to get down there. And Deb Antonelli, Miss Basketball around the nation, Deb Antonelli was actually down there, and she called in to the radio show of Jody Wynn just the other night and had talked to her and encouraged Jody about, you're doing all the right things, Jody. Continue to build your program. You're getting in the right tournaments. So I think that was a huge vote of confidence for Jody to hear from a person of the caliber of Deb Antonelli and to know that she has this program going in the right direction.
Well, certainly her career at Long Beach State, I mean, she did terrific things, 3 consecutive 21 seasons her last 3 years at Long Beach State, and it was that defense that likes to keep people off balance that she brought here. It just takes time to put it in, Tammy. You know that better than anybody.
Well, I played high school basketball with Jody. I played junior high basketball with Jody. I know her style. I know her philosophy. I know what she and Derek, her husband, the associate head coach, I know what they want to do, and they try to simplify the game. They are scientists of the game. They don't try to put in anything too dynamic, but they're very pure, and they're just traditional basketball coaches, and I love that about Jody. She teaches concepts. When you understand concepts and you execute, you can be very good.
On the other side for Ohio State, talking with Kevin McGuff during shoot-around today, he told us something very similar, saying, look, I don't have a lot of time with these players. I've got 8 new faces, so I'm trying to keep it simple. Implement one thing at a time. They were already playing Louisville before they put in a press break. Louisville's pressing during timeout. He's like, how about we put the press break in now?
I think what Kevin McGuff wants his team to do, too, is, they may be inexperienced, not the team of Ohio State past, but he wants them to play tough. So Jody Wynn asking her team, play tougher. That's just too easy right there on that penetration and kick. You got to step up and stop ball.
Amber Melgoza, a junior in this team. All Pac-12 last season. Averaged 19 points per game. It was critical, an ugly turnover there. Nope, it was tipped off by Uhas.
Melgoza, yeah, Melgoza knows exactly.
Called against the Huskies, turns it over to Ohio State.
Carmen Grande and Michaela Waterman. Number 24, Michaela Waterman for Ohio State. The one player on the floor who's come through all her 4 years at Ohio State. She came in with all those great players. Kelsey Mitchell, who moved on. And it was a tough year for Waterman, wondering, am I going to stay here when everybody else has graduated? Mavunga among them. She's happy she did, saying she's got all these graduate students experience who are driven. Melgoza nails one for 3.
3 points. Assist Peterson.
Waterman with Missy Peterman on her. Off the foot of Juhas, recovered by Santoro. Santoro trying to drive the lane, kick it back out. There's the movement. And this is what's different about Juhas. The big has a nice long shot, second opportunity, and that's those offensive rebounds. The dish over the top, nothing falling in. So the offensive execution for Ohio State coming up short. Both teams looking to find a little bit of a rhythm early on. Mosier trying to feed inside, and it's been unproductive possessions on both sides. Grande out of Spain, number 1 in red. Driving inside, and it's the same thing. The finish at the basket, just not there. If you're wondering what happened to Tammy Blackburn, she's still here with me. We have some audio issues. We will have her back momentarily, but I assure you she is next to me, engaged, and has plenty to say. You're just not able to hear it just yet. Ohio State, meanwhile, scoreless for the last 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. They've gone 0 for 4 from the floor. I'm going to tell you what, Tammy, when your microphone does work, I'm going to be quiet for 5 minutes. Just let you talk and on. You can say whatever you want about me right there. It's not my choice. Carmen Grande and Ohio State coming the other way. She has a lane, kicks it back out. And this is the issue, and I'll be interested to hear Tammy on it. They're able to get to the shot, and then the shots are not finishing. The selection is probably not what Coach McGuff wants. Just empty possession after empty possession on both sides. Grande keeps kicking it out, but as players either take the outside shot or try to get in, it is just messy. Melgoza going to try to take it herself, and instead the foul on Adriana Miller.
Fouls on number 15. That's their 13th. Adriana Miller. That is her first career foul, first team foul. At the line with 2 shots will be Amber Melgoza.
Melgoza is going to take a couple of shots from the free throw line. She's an 86% free throw shooter, and if Tammy can't talk on a microphone, she's going to pass me a note, because Washington pushing the pace and running Ohio State. They're just good scout. They've really absorbed the scout. They're making Ohio State take shots that they don't want to take. And Tammy is nodding her head vigorously. It's not our first day working together. Tammy, when I think about it, it's really like year 12, right?
Yeah,
when we go back to volleyball at CSTV. Missy Peterson coming in as Jenna Mosier takes a seat. TT Watkins, one of the exciting freshmen, number 25 in white. Watkins tasked with Grande. Grande, 22 years old in January. And here she goes, TT Watkins, ahead of everybody, anticipating the move and the finish. Washington will take it. Freshman on the board. And another sloppy play from Ohio State. And this is what Washington does. Again, trapping, showing different defenses. This is what Tammy had been talking about at the beginning with Jody Wynn. And of course, paying attention is TT Watkins. So when Tammy's talking about the different defenses, the way they keep Ohio State off balance. That's the identity of Jody Wynn. It was the identity at Long Beach State. It's the identity here.
Ohio State ball. Into the game for
However, the shots on both sides. So much to hear about that because they're just not even hitting iron.
Haley Van Dyke. For Amber Melgoza.
Amber Melgoza going to take a break. And look at the pace. Carmen Grande coming in, finds herself surrounded by Huskies. And a little stutter step from Waterman is actually a travel. The turnovers for Ohio State have been painful already. Off the glass, it works for Missy Peterson. Ohio State, 1 for 10 from the field.
Ohio State. Ball goes back to Washington.
That is incredible numbers for Ohio State. 0 for 5 from beyond the arc. Driving inside, getting up against the basket. No second opportunity for Washington. Grande has been passing, nobody finishing. This time she takes it herself, and again, 1 for 11 for Ohio State. I don't think that Kevin McGuff could have envisioned this kind of a start. T.T. Watkins right into a bunch of Buckeyes. We'll take a look at it again. As T.T. Watkins comes in, I think the foul is on number 32, Patty. It has been a messy game, really, for both teams, but Ohio State unable to finish, and then it's that kind of ball handling. Waterman, and again, finishes, spins, nothing. A bucket off the glass for Washington. Kevin McGuff calls a timeout for Ohio State. Nothing falling, and now they're not defending.
Anne-Marie, I am back.
Tammy Blackburn, welcome back. Why don't we start you off with this last bucket? They haven't scored since in the last 5+ minutes.
A couple things that are happening. First of all, University of Washington is being very, very patient. They're playing an outside-in game. They are looking to either do one of two things. One, to penetrate the gaps on Ohio State, or get the outside-in pass. That's perimeter to post pass. They want to be able to try to exploit Darcy Reese. She is a freshman. She is 6'4". She has a height advantage. They have been working with this player in practice. Second thing that the Huskies are doing well, they are out-toughing right now. They are pressuring. They're bringing that token pressure at about 3/4 court, and they're forcing Ohio State to take some time off that 30-second shot clock, and they're taking them out of their offensive rhythm, not allowing that easy entry pass into the offense.
What's going on with Ohio State's shot in terms of when they are inside? We've seen the outside shots not falling, but we've seen these inside shots dance around the iron and not go in. That one's stripped away by the defense, but otherwise, things that look like bunnies not falling. Uh-oh. Quick grab of the ankle.
Michaela Waterman grabbed her ankle, but she quickly motions over to Kevin McGuff that she is okay. A little stinger. She gets up. She looks good. Let me answer your question about those bunnies that they're missing. First of all, that's focus for Ohio State, but the other ones that they're missing, those are shots that are contested by the Huskies, and that's a good sign, because that's sometimes you can be chaotic and you can play sloppy or messy, but as long as there's effort and you're bringing energy, good things can happen.
The Huskies hold opponents to 64 points per game. There's a bucket from the stripe. They'll take it.
In the game for the Huskies, number 4, Amber Melgoza for Watkins.
The first point since 7:56 mark, over 6 minutes of play for Ohio State, and they got 2. They're shooting 8% from the floor, Tammy, Ohio State is.
1 for 13 is not going to pass muster in this game. Or
in any sport,
game.
Anywhere, right? Not even in baseball. From the corner, baseline. Carmen Grande trying to find the pass inside, and that's maybe where you really see players who haven't spent much time playing together.
You know, the Huskies are picking up ball. You want to pressure Grande. She is the player that is she leading the nation in assists? I mean, She looks to drop dimes. That's what this player does, right? So you've got to pressure her entry pass, and when you do, you force that to go over the top. That was a tough angle for them. I just like the Huskies' defensive pressure. Also like the movement off ball. Huskies not easy to guard. There's a strip, though, by Grande. Read that one well by Mike Melgoza.
Pass, finish, patience, bucket for Santoro. Those two are roommates, Carly Santoro and Carmen Grande. Met while playing against each other. Ball State and Bowling Green became friends. Excited for their 1 year together at Ohio State.
Santoro, one of those many players who is the transfer. A lot of these players that you had mentioned are transfers. They already have their undergraduate degree. They are in their graduate studies program, something that we are seeing around the nation become more familiar. Whether or not you have a fifth year and you want to take it, Kevin McGuff team, they need it. But you can see right now that Kevin McGuff is having to really coach up this team. You can also see the vast improvement in just 1 year that Jody Wynn has in this Huskies program. I saw this team scrimmage back in early October when I was up here for a volleyball match. They looked so different to me.
In what way?
I just think, for starters, they had more bodies. And secondly, they looked like a more mature team in terms of basketball IQ.
That bucket ends a 5-0 Ohio State run.
And again, the freshman, Haley Van Dyke, she's been playing so nicely.
Loving the effort by Missy Peterson, just the way that she is. Energy. Comes in, motions into Mosier, the two of them putting pressure on Grande. Back out, here's Uhas. That one good, she pumps her fist. They need to find a rhythm. Ohio State does. Close this gap back to within 4. An 8-2 Ohio State run to end the first quarter. Wasn't the prettiest quarter, a 4-point Husky lead. Welcome back to Alaska Airlines Arena. Washington Huskies and Ohio State Buckeyes. Late, Wednesday night matchup. First quarter wasn't pretty, Tammy, but Huskies managed to secure a 4-point lead.
I think that obviously the Huskies, we had told you off the top about their defense. I think that they're executing as best they can the defensive game plan. They're in a stance. They're obviously communicating with each other. But look at the strip there by Haley Van Dyke. She's just a freshman. You're really loving the production that she has given to this team. She's 6 foot, so she's got very good wingspan. She's got good length. She's a great defensive player for this team. This is a defense right now that we're seeing by the Huskies that they worked on and shoot around this morning, communicating, switching, a little bit of a matchup zone. They are going to mix things up, and we have seen them in this game already. It's just the beginning of the second quarter. Anne-Marie, they're throwing a lot of different things out at Ohio State. Look right now, full court matchup.
And Darcy Reese, I love the strip over here. They need to convert offensively. But to your point, when you're playing against Washington, every time you come down the floor, you're not sure what kind of defense you're going to be looking at.
Yeah, the more they mix it up, the better. They got to be careful on their passes. Grande is very good at anticipating. This is the second strip that she's had. You don't want to let Ohio State get hot. Remember, they just made a big bucket to end the first quarter on an outside shot by Uhas.
Yeah, this is the last 2 trips down the floor for the Huskies have resulted in turnovers. This one doesn't hit the rim. Mosier takes it, and the third time's a charm. Darcy Reese following up. Grande and Santoro Switching off and then inside. Those are the shots, Tammy, that they were missing earlier, the easy inside.
And you force, I mean, that's just great breakdown by Ohio State with the inside pass. Melanie Henson just had to come over help side. She was there on time, but it's just a good move by Ohio State and good ball work. Looking to try to get outside in as well. That perimeter to post pass. They could afford to have that work a little more, could the Buckeyes.
Great pass from Hannah Johnson over to Melanie Henson cutting in.
Well, you got to finish if you're Henson. That's a great look by Hannah Johnson. Just an unselfish pass and wide open layup. This team wants a player like Henson to try to step up and provide more. They're looking for that third and fourth. They know what they're getting from Melgoza and Missy Peterson.
Here's Melanie Henson. Hannah Johnson. By the way, Hannah Johnson can hit the three, too. They've got several different options. How about that one? Moser, baseline three.
Big time shot by Jenna Moser. She had a season high 15 points versus Michigan back in that Florida Gulf Coast showcase in Fort Myers, Florida.
Three is up, no good. Johnson there for the rebound. Melanie Henson comes right through traffic. It's one of those where you're wondering, do you need to make the extra pass there?
Well, but go tough to the basket. You just did a nice job of splitting the defense. You put the ball on the ground. Ohio State gave you the middle lane. They're not guarding the channel very well. Go all the way to the bucket, get called for the foul, and finish hard. Just like that.
That was beautiful, and that's the freshman Haley Van Dyke out of Moraga, California.
And Van Dyke is calling for a substitute, and Jody's like, I've got wholesale substitutions at the scores table for you. Here comes 5 for 5.
Line change.
But what nice minutes for Haley Van Dyke and the Husky team. Also Darcy Reese, credit to her. We had talked about the freshman production. The freshmen are making a splash this season for the Huskies, and that is welcomed.
And look at the pressure with these fresh bodies of the Huskies. Helping out, trying to make that pass difficult.
Over and back. See, that's what the trap does. It just causes a little chaos, right? And this is something that is about timing when you're trapping. When is the right time to leave your defensive player or leave your defensive post or your zone, depending on what you're doing, and go over and make the trap? That was perfect execution. That caused over and back.
And look at the platoon when they came in. All 5 of them, high energy, big press, helping out, making that pass difficult. So great. That is what bodies and depth will do, and that is not something that Jody Wynn had last year.
Look at the patience offensively.
Checking the feet to make sure it's 3. No good, though. Lands in the hands of Janae Crooms, freshman for Ohio State.
Foul with the body by T.T. Watkins, and that might be just a little bit of frustration. Tough shot. She missed that on an air ball. I like the shot, though, underneath 10 seconds, and the patience by the Huskies. T.T. Watkins, who is out of the Southern California area, actually played 3 seasons at Brea Olinda High School in Brea, California, the high school that both Jody Wynn and I played for when we were, well, let's just say back in the 80s.
When you had fluffy hair, I'm
That's
going to
right,
guess, because we
bangs.
all did. And more bright pink, or bright something or other. Melgoza. Melanie Henson inside. Look who's all alone underneath. Kayla Rooks.
Nice overload, too. The Huskies were all on the left side of the floor, and just a breakdown by Ohio State defensively, turning their back on Rooks. Good look, good pass.
Right foot over and back. Janae Crooms, right foot.
Melgoza looking around, not picking up her dribble, and then Henson. Do you see that overload there? You see how Melgoza, when she curled up to the top, the Huskies literally had 4 players on the other side, on that right side, strong side of that free throw line, and they did a nice job of finding Rooks on that low block.
Inside cutting movement, able to draw the foul is Melanie Henson.
The one thing that you're seeing different, this Huskies team that Jody is able to implement, some different offensive schemes. You see the action, the movement. We didn't see a lot of movement off ball last year. We didn't see a lot of players last year with the Huskies who maybe understood the offensive concepts of the game. You're seeing movement with a purpose this year. You're seeing players look for the open player, so they're looking for that first look. If that first look isn't open, that secondary look comes through, so it's patience, execution, letting the game and the flow happen, and that's the biggest growth part for this Huskies program. Jody very pleased with that.
Crooms, ball in her hand for Henson. That was her first point of the day. 1 of 2 from the stripe. Henson giving Grande a little room. Peripatetic defense of Washington inside. Nice pass from Grande, and the finish. That's Naja Quinlan, another transfer, this one from Pacific. Baseline movement around the perimeter.
Good look. I like the 2 extra passes. Brooks just kind of shorted herself on that shot. Didn't look a whole lot of confidence going. And how about this? The Huskies stepping up and taking a charge. That is Henson. This is an award they give out at the end of the year. Jody Wynn says, hey, in practice, I want you to step up and take a charge. In a game, I want you to step up and take a charge. And guess who is taking charge in this game? That's right. It's the Huskies having a field day, and they are up by 8.
Welcome back, second half, just getting underway. Washington takes the first and early shot. Tammy, after you've spoken with both coaches, we reviewed the first half. Give me your keys in the second half for each of these teams.
I think we just talked to Kevin McGuff, and I did want to ask him about rebounding. They did miss a lot of shots. They ought to be able to rebound, but I think he said it well, and I'll restate it again. If you can't rebound, it's going to be a long night, and that's precisely what Ohio State has to do. They got to come out here. First of all, it'd be nice if they could make some shots. They'd love that, but then to be able to rebound, and then you got to guard Amber Melgoza from the outside. That's at least the second one that Melgoza has hit from downtown, and she has not been fantastic or lights out from downtown this season, but she sure feeling it tonight.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that she certainly can hit the 3. I mean, if she gets in a rhythm tonight, that could set her into a good rhythm for December. The other thing that Kevin McGuff mentioned when he talked to you was those easy shots around the basket, and that they weren't finishing those. And it was simply that we're just finishing around the glass. In the second quarter, certainly better than that 20% field goal percentage from the first quarter. Shot clock expired.
Shot clock violation. Husky ball.
Melgoza, no-look pass means her receiver wasn't looking either.
She and Peterson just disconnect on that, but if Peterson wanted it, maybe a little bit backdoor, Melgoza had the no-look pass. I like the idea.
Baseline jumper is good. Adriana Miller. Inside to Darcy Reese. Straight fouled right in front of her. That was Waterman.
Yeah, she tried not to bring the ball down, Reese, and that's the right move. Mechanically, you don't want to bring the ball down because that just gives your defense an opportunity to, one, get in defensive position, and then also a lot of times those players will dive and they'll strip the ball from the bigs. But she just got hacked, and now an opportunity for Reese to step up. You like the fundamentals. I like the fact that she understood not to bring that ball down. You can tell that this Husky team and these coaches for the Huskies have been in the gym working with these players and player development and player growth.
Reese made 1 of 2.
Waterman can't handle it. Peterson comes up with it.
Travel called against Washington. Husky ball coming out is Peterson. Back into the lineup, number 25, T.T. Watkins.
T.T. Watkins on the floor. Freshman has been exciting. Look at the double pressure all over Grande. Grande moving Watkins around. Cross-court pass. You better believe that Washington's going to get some hands up. That was a risky pass, Tammy.
And there are 10 ticks for Ohio State. Confusion on the inbound there for the Buckeyes. The Huskies cannot foul. They don't need to foul. Ohio State's a sense of urgency here. I'm not sure if they understand the shot clock.
For Kevin McGuff, as he kind of rubs his head, I mean, it's just inexplicable at that point. Baseline, Melgoza. Oh, I thought that one was going to go in, and she was finding a rhythm.
Looked good out of her hand. The pressure Jenna Mosier is putting on Grande. It's nice pressure.
Mosier always going to put pressure.
The Huskies switching. Well. Yeah, Mosier, Melgoza doing a good job of communicating up top with the perimeter players. They'll switch on that, and that forces UHAS to throw up a shot with about 4 ticks left on that 30-second shot clock. Just no rhythm and organization. They can't even make an entry pass. It doesn't seem like Ohio State. When you can't make an entry pass and look for your first look or your secondary look, there's going to be trouble having some offensive flow.
Yeah, they turned it over 13 times. Ohio State has T.T. Watkins. She's showing some moments of real energy, Tammy. Watkins, exciting. My first time seeing her in person. I know you saw their scrimmage.
She scored 12 points on 4 or 5 shooting against Northern Arizona. She is averaging about 6 points per game through 6 games this year. Make longer range on the outside by Ohio State. That's the second long range on that side. Good flash by T.T. Watkins in the middle. They didn't hit her.
Melanie Henson trying to go up, through, no contact, no foul.
Up and under there, not sure.
And then again, it's the pass for Ohio State. There wasn't even a Buckeye around. So a lot of forgiveness for shots not falling for Washington because of Ohio State's turnovers. 3 consecutive possessions. The Buckeyes have turned it over coming down the floor. Melgoza finishing.
Yeah, she'll finish strong. That's a nice look. You see the pace that the Huskies are bringing, and they're trapping, they're tipping, they're getting the steals that they want. They are causing turnovers against this Ohio State team, and then they're capitalizing. It's one thing to turn a team over. It's another thing to go back down and then finish at the other end.
To support your point, both teams have turned the ball over 15 times. Ohio State has 8 points off those 15 turnovers. Washington, 15 points off of 15 turnovers.
Good opportunity. Good defense to run defensive transition into offense. Darcy Reese was posting tough. Didn't hit her the first time. They get her there. Contested shot.
Second chance, third chance. How many chances are you going to get? And then there's the foul.
Waterman frustrated there for Ohio State, and she gets a second and third opportunity.
On number 25, T.T. Watkins, third.
Amber Melgoza, the bright spot for the Huskies.
She is. T.T. Watkins running a little bit of the fast break. Guess who's going to finish? Melgoza. And they're up by 9.
Sunday, it's a battle for the Emerald City as the Huskies take on the Red Hawks. Washington men's hoops tips off against Seattle University. Sunday, 6 p.m. on Pac-12 Washington. Download and stream live with Pac-12 now. It's been exciting here in Washington on the men's basketball side of things.
Yeah, you take a look at the steals leader, the Pac-12 all-time. Everybody knows who Gary Payton is of Oregon State University. Of course, we know that he played a lot of great basketball up here in the Seattle area. But how about Matisse Thybulle? 227. He is chasing Jason Terry of Arizona at 245, the only active NCAA player with 200-plus steals and 100-plus blocks in a career. This guy can fly. He's got quicks. He can get up and down the floor. A lot of fun to watch, brings a lot of entertainment. actually the men's basketball team has been practicing around here, and there's some tightness and some good chemistry between the women's players, men's players. They're friends, a lot of them. They say, let me tell you about Tybal. That guy, he can get up. He's quite entertaining, and anytime you can see a basketball player like that.
Well, and Jody Wynn will build it here eventually. There's a takeaway on the other side. Real energy coming from Queenland. And a finish.
Frustrating out of a timeout that now the Huskies are only up by 5. It is a 2-possession ball game when you think that the Huskies have been in the driver's seat.
You talked about, I think you mentioned earlier that Uhas didn't play last year. She was injured with her knee. Queenland also didn't play last year. She knew she was transferring. She committed in November of last year to Ohio State, but she wanted to finish her degree at Pacific. So she stayed there and just worked out. Baseline, no good. Rebound. So when you look at Ohio State and you're seeing that they're having a little bit of trouble offensively, understand some of these players didn't even play last year anywhere, and none of them played together. Really no quality minutes between any two players on this Ohio State team last season. Hannah Johnson. Second opportunity, though, for the Huskies.
Good crossover good crossover by Missy Peterson, and there are some gaps. They can get into the paint. Let's take a look at the key departures. Starters lost from last season. Kelsey Mitchell, Mavunga Harper, Calhoun, Asia Doss. There was a lot of point production. 94% of Ohio State's scoring left that university. And Kevin McGuff continuing to try to rebuild the Ohio State program back into national prominence. The Ohio State University. Kevin McGuff, who spent 2 years here at University of Washington, says it's always a pleasure to come to the Seattle area. Says the Seattle fans, UW fans, very good to him and his family.
And he got together with some friends last night, he was telling me, just away from basketball for the moment. How about a nice strong finish? Well, up there and one, or sorry, not and one, it didn't fall, but got fouled was Janae Crooms.
Grande got away with an over and back.
For Crooms, she is the point guard in training, if you would, because Grande is really teaching her the game a bit, as they both really try to figure out Ohio State's system together, truthfully.
Crooms is a 4-star recruit, so it's a very good recruit for Ohio State. And they will build on her, on Crooms, undoubtedly. 4-time New England All-Star. She is from St. Andrews High School. Played in Cranston, Rhode Island. Kevin McGuff can't believe it. He is a coach that, as described by his players, and he coached a lot of years at Xavier, and I called a lot of his games when he was at Xavier. All his players always say he's a very laid-back style, expects his team to solve the issues. He has to do a little bit more coaching this year with an inexperienced team. He's an absolute delight to speak to. Meanwhile, the Huskies just missing some shots.
I mean, Melgoza makes that shot a million times, but that's the toughness. That's the difference for the Huskies. Melgoza doesn't dwell on that shot. She's full next play. Little ball movement, ball falls. Worth the work for the Huskies.
Great push by Melgoza. Missy Peterson drives baseline. Haley Van Dyke, meanwhile, understands that the defense is going to dive because they want to stop Missy Peterson, so she spots up on the outside, and that's a great extra pass by Peterson to hit this three-point spot-up shooter. Haley Van Dyke has to make that shot, and she does. You talk about a vote of confidence in Missy Peterson passing that one out. Good ball distribution. The Huskies playing a little bit better in about the last 90 seconds. Jody Wynn and then confidence in her team as they are up by 10.
Huskies leading by 10. Well, even if the offense isn't clicking as smoothly as they'd like, the one thing that always goes right for the Huskies is their defense. So let's take a look at our State Farm here to help life go right highlights.
They have been working on defense. They are a 1 year older defensive mature team, and it sure has shown, especially in the month of November, where they were able to grow defensively, something that they placed emphasis on in the offseason, working. Ohio State University with 3 turnovers in the last, about 1 minute and 57 seconds. UW has 5 points off those turnovers. Collectively, Washington has twice as many points off turnovers as Ohio State.
I mean, it's just the Ohio State third quarter has been a nightmare, whereas there's another big bucket. They turned it over 8 times in 7.5 minutes.
Melgoza is feeling it from the outside. It is her night. She's got that shot nailed down, just kind of dialed in, Melgoza.
And what did Jody win? Another turnover there, which really looked like a pass to Melgoza, by the way, that turnover. But what did Jody Wynn tell us about Melgoza? She hasn't really been hitting from the outside. Well, that has changed today.
She is 5 of 9. She is also 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Melgoza in double figures.
She's had 20 points in the win over George Mason. She's had 20 or more points in the 4 consecutive games. She's about to have 20 points again tonight. She's got 19 right now. Hannah Johnson at the line. Bucket's no good. Santoro on the move, moving right into it is Missy Peterson. She'll be charged with the foul.
Husky foul number 44, Missy Peterson.
Looked like she kind of halfway thought about taking a charge and then kept her feet moving.
Just good to have her back. She actually is wearing that mask because she broke her nose. After an injury-plagued freshman campaign, Peterson, she has been solid through the first 8 games of this sophomore season. About 12 points, 4 rebounds per game, including 73 points over the last 5 games.
Yeah, Peterson, one of those players that had wanted to go play for Jody Wynn wherever she was going to be, was going to Long Beach State, ended up coming here. You mentioned injury plague last year. She missed the last 8 games. Last season. Hannah Johnson securing the rebound.
She had a lingering foot injury that kept her off the court till just before the start of the season. That was last year as a freshman. Needed her back. You can see that she is the number 2 for this Husky team.
Hannah Johnson turns around. It comes up a little bit short. This 13 points, by the way, the largest lead for the Huskies in the game.
Good baseline stop there by Peterson. Hannah Johnson was there for help side, but nevertheless, Ohio State staying in it and looking for the secondary option. That's nice because the Huskies were out of defensive position because they drew Hannah Johnson into that help side. Good pass.
Mosier, long shot, no good. Cruz. Looking for kicking it back out. Plenty of time. Still 13 seconds. Deciding to take it in, and it's another takeaway.
Good block. Great help side. Haley Van Dyke coming over.
Third effort. No good. The quarter ends with 19 Ohio State turnovers, 9 of them in the third quarter. Huskies with an 11-point lead after 3 quarters. Amber Melgoza 1 point away from 20. Huskies in the driver's seat as we enter the 4th quarter at Alaska Airlines Arena. 4th quarter about to begin. Amber Melgoza leading the way for the Huskies. No surprise. She's about to quickly 20 points.
Yeah, just having herself a game. 19 points, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 5 of 9. She is 3 of 5 from downtown. Feeling it coming in. Amber Melgoza, who looks absolutely in great shape. this year, leading the way versus Fordham, 21 points. Check out those numbers game by game versus Michigan, Seattle U, George Mason, and then, of course, tonight versus Ohio State, 19. We are not done yet. Meanwhile, UW defense is getting it done. Rebounds 22, 3 blocks, and they have taken 2 charges.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They've been able to lay on their defense. That is their identity. And for Ohio State, they're feeling that. I mean, it is just relentless. Crooms, nice extension, and a turnover. Ohio State shooting 33% from the floor for the game. Washington, not much better, 36%. But you mentioned it, the points off turnovers, 24 points off turnovers for Washington, just 10 for Ohio State. Baseline. And 1.
Oh, the putback. Juhas. She's big, she's strong. You got to keep her off the offensive boards. That is according to the scouting report. She goes after boards hard. Jody Wynn called her a double-double machine. She's had double-double in 4 or 5 games, but she always loves to go with the right hand. You give her a chance to get a putback, and she'll take advantage of it.
I think that's a big difference for Ohio State. I mean, now she's at 10 points, but she has 5 rebounds as opposed to her average 10.4. She's the Big Ten Freshman of the Week. And she, you know, when she got that averaging 17.5 points and 14.5 rebounds with wins over North Carolina and Cincinnati. Washington just has not allowed that of Juhas today. And Melgoza trying to go for it, but those normally go down.
Husky foul on number 4, Amber Melgoza. First foul, second team foul.
Fouls on Melgoza.
Good tip, good hands by Grigsby.
Juhas recovering it though. Now Crooms running the point. While Grande gets a rest. Santoro back out to Crooms. Crooms for 3. That's the future of the Buckeyes.
Nice little player in Crooms. You called it. Somebody that is continuing to learn from some of these veteran players, and I say veteran loosely for Ohio State with grad transfers in wholesale.
Grigsby nails a 3.
Sophomore guard hits 1. She missed the first 2 games due to a very minor ankle injury. But coming off of last season where she played all 30 games, she had 4 starts. She is a player they want to give minutes to, and that shot looks awfully good from the outside.
I like the way you characterize that. It's a very minor ankle injury.
Sometimes,
yeah, 2 games.
Yep.
First team foul, out of bounds, Washington.
Melgoza and Mosier communicating through. Here's Darcy Reese. Reese just backing her up.
Entry pass to Reese. Reese is going to go one-on-one versus Waterman. They like that. And she just backs Waterman down, pinning Waterman on her hip. She just literally showed her numbers. She had Waterman completely on her backside. Waterman was not in denial, and all she had to do was make that drop step layout after she turned. Good execution.
Reese, both players play professionally. How about that? Reese goes to help out. Great pass from Crooms.
Wow, that's a wonderful pass, and then the finish, impressive. This Ohio State team not giving up. Look at the steal stepping into that passing lane.
That lead was 13 now. Cut. And there's a foul on Reese. Ohio State showing plenty of signs of life.
Number 53, Darcy Reese with a foul.
And that is what Jody Wynn precisely would be worried about. You don't want to let down. You don't want to think you have this game in hand. At one point, the Huskies with a double-digit lead, which is now down to 7 after this made free throw. Can't take your foot off the gas.
Peterson coming back in. Van Dyke out. Santoro 1 of 2 at the line. Melgoza, eyes up, looking to see all her options, decides to call her own number. Stop pot, so smooth.
Who doesn't guard Melgoza? You got to step up and stop ball on the #1 threat for the Huskies, who already has 20 points. That is way too easy if you're Ohio State.
I like Kroom's passes. They are crisp inside. Now she needs them to finish when she gets him the ball inside like that. Grigsby. Crooms again. Foul.
Washington foul goes against number 35, Lexi Grigsby.
Foul is on Grigsby. Her second. She'll step out.
More substitutions, meanwhile, for the Huskies.
Rooks and Hannah Johnson coming in. For Grigsby, actually it's her third foul. Crooms is looking more and more comfortable as the game is going along. I'm talking about number 3 in red. She's at the stripe. Got 5 points, but she's a few more minutes coming up short there. She's only played 12 minutes so far today.
She comes into this game as a 33% free throw shooter, so she is not great at the free throw line, something that she'll have to work on.
But only one of 3 coming in, too. Not that it looked any better today.
You got to be able to make your shots, and she's a 33% three-point shooter, and she shoots 26% from the field. But she is going to be a player for Ohio State to build on.
Melgoza, meanwhile, just slightly off. These are all looking pretty good. Hannah Johnson, love the extra effort.
That's an offensive board there and a putback for #1, Hannah Johnson.
That's her first bucket of the game, but she's got 7 boards. Got one down from the free throw line. Crooms coming in, finds room in front of her.
Almost another offensive charge taken by the Huskies, but just Mosier there a little too late. Hannah Johnson on the offensive board. Melgoza is going to miss. Johnson gets right up in the mix. Physical player turns and looks over at her bench, who is fired up on that putback. Hannah Johnson, who, by the way, is in her graduate studies program, taking online courses, now in the graduate program here at University of Washington. Great opportunity for her to earn her 2nd degree.
The things that sports can offer you. Jenna Mosier is in that same program with Hannah Johnson, the two of them together.
Hannah Johnson wants to be a coach. She is an assistant coach at a high school here in the Seattle area.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it's
a varsity
fantastic.
assistant coach.
She is, those girls are lucky to have a player like Hannah Johnson as a good role model and a mentor. An opportunity came through an assistant coach at University of Washington, and these are life growth opportunities, life after basketball.
How about that? Melgoza taking a charge.
Kevin McGuff can't believe it.
2nd team foul, Husky ball.
Ohio State hanging around. They haven't had the lead, but they are now single digits again, 9. Neither team shooting lights out. It's the Huskies' defense that has separated them, and their aggressiveness and points off turnovers.
Tightly contested shot against Melgoza by Ohio State's defense. Oh, and there's the 3rd charge of the game. Jody Wynn and the coaching staff for the Huskies going to love this. Stepping up and taking one for the team. Jenna Mosier goes down. Washington up by 9.
This Pac-12 women's basketball game is brought to you by State Farm, here to help life go right. Huskies 9-point lead late in the fourth quarter. Before the game, Tammy, you talked with Coach Jody Wynn, and she talked to you about the way this team is different, especially late in games than they were last year.
A year older and a year more experience makes all the difference in the world. Just understanding how to compete for 4 quarters. Last year we didn't get to do that so much, and we always had a quarter where we were on a drought, and this year I think we're able to withstand some of those scoring runs that our opponents are going on.
It takes that kind of growth year over year to be able to compete in this Pac-12 conference. And coming out of the break, Ohio State looks to pick the pocket of the Huskies, and now it is down to a 7-point lead. These are the things that Jody says we're going to have to be mature and step up. So how will they respond or withstand, using Jody Wynn's words, any potential run that Ohio State will bring here with just over 4 minutes left in this game?
Yeah, this is a danger zone for sure for the Huskies. I mean, Ohio State hasn't led since 7:56 in the first quarter, but they're within 7. Shots haven't been falling. Both teams shooting 37% from the floor. It's been the Huskies' defense. If somehow Ohio State can break through that defense for a bit, it's definitely a danger zone and within reach. But as we've said many times, the most significant thing about Washington's defense is that it's different all the time, that they're comfortable switching, and that, Jody Wynn telling us, is really the biggest difference from last year to this year. It's more looks keeping the other teams off balance. But offensively, nothing falling.
Offensive board by Melgoza. Waterman just lost her footing and caught the foot of Melgoza, so she gets called for the foul. We talked about Hannah Johnson for Washington wanting to be a coach. Waterman, Michaela Waterman, too, wants to be a coach and wants to coach at Ohio State.
Yeah, just got great news this week as Melgoza hits one. Waterman got accepted this week to the WBCA, So You Want to Be a Coach program, and Kevin McGuff telling you and I earlier this week, it's definitely the right fit for her, the way that she directs traffic on the floor. Baseline, no good. And again, Missy Peterson boxing out. Go
Waterman's
ahead.
grandpa and father planted the seeds of coaching, and she is following in that legacy footstep.
Baseline drive.
Oh, nicely done. That's a tough baseline drive because you have to position yourself at the end of your run to be able to use the glass. Otherwise, that ball's going to go up and over one side of the rim and come out the other end. And let me tell you, if you don't use the glass, it's going to be tough. And Missy Peterson does so.
Ohio State foul number 32, Aaliyah Patty.
Let's go back to this run here. Baseline move by Peterson. Melgoza, who gets it over to Mosier, who gets the quick pass. See, Peterson realizes that she's got that sort of catch. It's not a real catch and rip move because she didn't have to really rip through. There wasn't any defense up on her, but that rip through move and then finishes nicely.
Into the game for the Huskies, number 25.
Be nice to get that mask off her face. I had to wear one of those my sophomore year in college, and it is, for me, it was disruptive. Some players say it's not.
Suffocating, it appears to be.
It is. It's uncomfortable.
Number 10, Carly Santoro.
How about Sue Bird in the WNBA Finals, breaking her nose again? She pulls out the old mask. Been through this before. Fouls on Hannah Johnson.
Hannah Johnson, number 1, her first foul.
It's her first lead back up to 11. 2:22 back. Look, Tammy, let's be honest. You and I have been talking about it. It's not the prettiest game for either team, but for Washington, they've got to be proud of their defense. Look at this. Ohio State, 51 points.
Kayla Roach back in for Watkins.
Already at the line. Big fouls. Foul is
shots away.
I think the foul was on Waterman. I didn't see. Just
Kayla
it was on
Rooks will be at the
Grande.
line.
Kayla Rooks. There are several players, by the way, for this Husky team who worked so hard in the offseason to get in great fitness shape so they could run, do the things that they'll do throughout the Pac-12 and have a tough non-conference schedule. Kayla Rooks really working hard on her fitness. She can run and shoot stronger than ever.
For Kayla Rooks.
Well, Melgoza said when she went home for the summer, that was her focus. She said, every day I did the same program. You really have to have that kind of fitness to play Jody Wynn's type of defense. Nothing been falling for Coretti. She dishes inside this time.
Foul be on Peterson.
Number 44, Missy Peterson's called for the foul, her third. 2 shots coming up for Uhas.
Uhas from the stripe.
Kayla Rooks in for Watkins.
Uhas has been held below her averages. She's got 11 points and 6 rebounds. Averages 13 and 10.
Only one player for Ohio State in double-figure scoring. A low-scoring affair for Ohio State. They average 60 points a game, and they are 8 points below that average with just under 2 minutes left in this game.
For Ohio State, they're leaving right after this game, flying back on a charter tonight. Their finals start Friday. So they have what's called a reading day on Thursday, which they will use to rest and study for their finals and go right into it. The Buckeyes' next game is Sunday the 16th. This is only their second road trip of the season, this West Coast trip for Ohio State. They were looking forward to Sacramento State and Stanford earlier this year, but the air quality is so poor they had to cancel the trip.
They did play UConn. They got in a quality game against a great team. They really would have liked to have been able to play Sacramento State and, of course, Stanford. But unfortunately, they didn't. So only 4 games experience coming into this game.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that Kevin McGuff really needed more than anything else is game experience. They're 3-2 coming in, down 2 games, and he said you can really see it in the shoot-around today as they were kind of absorbing their scouting report. Every team delivers their scouting report a little bit differently. These players, 2 games less experience than they would normally have at this point. Melgoza! Yes, she did.
30-second buzzer beater.
Coretti been trying to find anything to work. For Coretti, that's her first bucket of the game.
Time winding down on this shot for Melgoza. She realized she had to get something up in the air, and I don't know if you can see Jody Wynn at the end of this replay and how excited she was. Look at Melgoza leave her feet. Only 1 second left, and look at Jody Wynn just with the fist in the air right in the face of Melgoza saying, oh yeah.
Amber Melgoza, always electric. 26 points, 7 rebounds. She's had 20 or more points now in 5 consecutive games.
Coming off such an impressive sophomore campaign last year, earned all Pac-12 honors after finishing 2nd in the conference and scoring 19 points per game.
Yeah, one of the things that Jody Wynn said she wanted from her was for her to rebound more aggressively. She's done that tonight above her average. I mean, you talked about that sophomore campaign. She's had double-figure scoring now in 22 consecutive games, dating back to last year. When you have a player like that, Tam, and you talked about, they're looking for their 3 or 4. They know Amber Melgoza is the one. She's going to score every night.
Yeah, she averaged 30 points in her final 4 games. So she ended with 120 points over the last 4 games of the season. And she dropped 40 against Stanford, the most by a Pac-12 player of the season.
Melgoza on the run. Checking Santoro on her shoulder, and is fouled.
Foul goes on number 10, Carly Santoro. Second foul. Melgoza has 2 coming up.
So the Huskies will go to 6-3 with a victory here tonight and continue to defend their home court.
The Husky schedule has been tough. I mean, I think you and I were talking with Jeff Hoffman, their sports information director, earlier today, that statistically, based on records, they have the 4th toughest schedule in the NCAA, pre-conference schedule.
They are not shying away from playing a difficult schedule. Half of its schedule, 13 games, against 7 teams currently ranked in the AP top 25 or receiving votes. They took a big jump in the RPI, a big impressive jump did the Huskies.
28-point performance for Melgoza today, but a team effort on defense. The points off turnovers, 24 Husky points off of 21 Ohio State turnovers.
They'll go to 18-1 in non-conference home games, which is since the start of 2016-2017 season. And they have won 7 straight. After tonight, they will make it 8. The Huskies are a much better free throw shooting team this year. There's a look at the upcoming games. They'll play Montana the first of 2 games in what will be the Husky Classic here in the Alaska Airlines Arena. They will play a Mississippi State team, which I wish I could be back up here for that one. That is the number 6 ranked team in the nation and the national runner-up last year in a heartbreaking loss to Notre Dame. And then they will start their Pac-12 season, as will all the other Pac-12 schools, with the rival schools, USC, UCLA, Washington, Washington State.
Yeah, they get to air out their suitcase. I mean, they're not backing up again. Their next road trip is January 4th at Oregon. So a win for the Washington Huskies against the Ohio State University Buckeyes.
Congratulations to Jody Wynn and the Huskies. They advanced to 6-3 overall. They are now 18-1 in non-conference home games here. Alaska Airlines Arena, a very different team, a more mature team, a team that has depth. They will continue to grow before they start in the Pac-12 on December 30th.
Credit the Husky defense. They held Ohio State to 36% shooting from the floor, 21% from the three-point. That has been their identity.
First ever win versus Ohio State. 4 games. Congratulations to the Huskies, who do it on a midweek Wednesday night 8 p.m. game, and they wrap it up with a victory.
For our producer, Tim McQuillan, our director, Lori Brooks, my partner, Tammy Blackburn, I'm Anne-Marie Anderson. So long from Alaska Airlines Arena. A 10-point victory for the Washington Huskies over Ohio State.